Hello again. Thank you very much for joining me here on Movie Ninja. Guys, we did it. We've made it to the end of 2021, going into 2022. And here's to hoping that it's going to be, even better than 2021. Hey, some of you who pay attention might be like, hey, this is kind of out of protocol for Movie Ninja. He usually wears like a black shirt or something, something like nerdy. Well, this one's just solid gray. Why? Because I think 2022 is gonna be great. Okay, hold up. Okay, for those of you that are more tolerant of dad jokes, all right, seriously, I'm trying to go into 2022 with some, with some good energy, Unfortunately, I was hoping that I would post a few other videos and reviews for some movies that I had seen recently. However, this holiday season hit me a little bit harder than, I was expecting. But, I mean, hey, sometimes the unexpected happens and we have to adjust the best that we can. So, those that are in the know, you know what the situation is. Don't, mention it in comments or whatever. But, still. That being said, I do have some good reviews coming up for some of the highlights that I had this year. This year had a lot of really great stuff. A lot of stuff that unfortunately just didn't get onto the channel. Either it was time constraints or just, life stuff happened like I suggested. But I did want to go over just a prospect, a possibility. I know that I usually try to keep up with some contemporary stuff, but something that, and this is entirely my fault, that some of you may not be aware of is that I am very much into samurai films. These could be period dramas, jigaideki, stuff set during the Sengoku Jidai. My particular favorite is Chambara. For those who don't know what that is, that's the samurai slash 'em ups. This is the stuff that, you see a lot in parodies of like samurai movies from the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. Like, how should I put this? For people with, and no offense, but if someone has a limit of reference, what's Chambara? If you are familiar with the films Kill Bill Volumes 1 and 2, a lot of what Quentin Tarantino was capitalizing on was the Chambara sort of like subgenre of the samurai film. It's very over the top, but in many cases, just because some of the effects were over the top doesn't mean that the movies that they were deriving from were anything less than top tier cinema. And I actually want to put that out there. It's just like, this is something that I'm going to incorporate much more of into the channel, In fact, because I was actually talking with a friend of mine earlier today, and we were swapping sort of like what some highlights as far as like what we were like some of the better films that we saw this year. And among, my list, I would like to provide like here and now a short list of some samurai films that I had seen earlier this year and would like to cover, if people are interested, would like to cover here on the channel. So, and none of these are in any particular order. I'm not grading like by rank or even by year. It's just a matter of just like these are the films I saw and this is the years that they came out. So, first up, Samurai from Nowhere, 1964, starring Isamu Nagato and Tetsuro Tamba. I'm sorry. I almost get his like name wrong. I always want to say Tetsuo, but it's not Tetsuro. So, I always like to do that. I always like to try and get people's names accurately, because when I was growing up, people intentionally messed up my name all the time, and so I it's not simply like a matter of just basic tier level respect, but it's just I do like to get people's names correct when I can. All right, following up, Samurai from Nowhere, Zatoichi and the Chest of Gold, also from 1964. Starring Shintaro Katsu. Now, some people may know Shintaro Katsu primarily from the Lone Wolf and Cub series, but he was also, his other iconic role was Zatoichi. He starred in many, many Zatoichi films. So, Zatoichi and the Chest of Gold definitely stood out for me like this year as one of his better Zatoichi films. I also ended up watching all four of the Crimson Bat series. These are movies that came out. Three of them came out in 1969. One of them came out in 1970. But they starred Yoko Matsuyama, and I really do have to cover this. And I'm hoping to provide some footage with some of these like as well. I have to be careful because even for those in the know, I only have one video that actually has like cinematic footage, and it's still, even with objection, it still has copyright claim on it. What some of you may not know is that when you have a copyright claim, even though YouTube allows it to stay up, they definitely red tag it on the algorithm to where like less people can see it. So anyway, but that's just the rules, but whatever. Okay, so I still have to be careful like with footage, but Yoko Matazuma, she's a really good action actress. I was not, expecting her to be as elegant and just as impressive as she was in her role as Oichi the Blind. Anyways, moving on. The Secret of the Urn, 1966, starring Kinosuke Nakamura, is very good. Apparently it is actually set up capitalizing on one of the more popular sword fighter characters in Japanese lore, but I can't find any other movies about this character. So Secret of the Urn was the only one that I could find. But once again, it's a really, now that one is solid Chambara. Solid Chambara. So, alright. Let me see. I've seen the first 4 films in the Sleepy Eyes of Death series, starring Raizo Ichikawa. Some of you may also know Raizo Ichikawa. He did a lot of films. Another big series that he did was Shinobi no Mono. And the character that he plays in like this would require a lot of explanation because he's extremely flawed, but also strangely complex. And I say strangely because when you get to discussing his character, it's hard to ignore the flaws. And then there's this tug of war within yourself as the audience member. It's like, well, maybe he's not meant to be the traditional protagonist. That being said, like at one point I was thinking maybe he's supposed to be a Byronic hero, but I don't know if if he is conflicted enough to where I can actually like categorize him in that way as well. Not entirely sure if I can solidly place him as anti-hero either. In D&D terms, solid chaotic neutral. Don't know what to do with this guy, but once again, if in a future video, or at least a video discussing the series, there's a lot of ground to cover with this. But that being said, these are very impressively made films. The Sleepy Eyes of Death. Haven't finished the series. There's 12. To the best of my knowledge, there's 12. But I have seen the first 4 in the Sleepy Eyes of Death series. So those are the highlights for a lot of the samurai films I saw this year. Though once again, I want to say thank you to everyone who supported the channel. Thank you guys so much. It's been 2021 was still difficult. It was a bit more difficult than we were hoping or expecting. But hey, y'all, we made it. Okay? Stick with that. And hey, why am I wearing gray? Because it's going to be great. There we go. All right? Just go into 2022 with a good attitude, And aside from, just trying to stay pumped up, trying to stay positive, of course, be safe. Take care of yourself. Take care of the people that are around you, Even though we seem to have a bit more of a grip on things in 2021, life always throws curveballs at us, But yeah, so once again, just thank you everyone for supporting the channel this year. And just be safe, take care of yourselves, take care of those around you. Thank you as always for joining me here on Movie Ninja, and I hope you have a great new year. Stay safe. Don't get too crazy. But anyways, have a great New Year's celebration with those close to you, and have a great rest of the day.